Hey guys, this is Anastasia, and in this video we're going to go into the biggest news in the teen mom world that happened this past week, and that is David and Jenelle's divorce. I mean, it's a huge deal. David and Jenelle, this has been Jenelle's longest relationship so far, as well as arguably her most toxic. This guy shot her dog and she didn't leave him. He abused her and she didn't leave him. Probably abused her son Kaiser and she still didn't leave him. But now she supposedly left him and is divorcing him, so what could he possibly have done? Now, this all started with a post on Jenelle's Instagram. You can go ahead and read it there. So depending on what you think of that, whether it was written by her or her PR person, Johnny Donovan, whether you think it's real or not. Also, there's no dude in any segment of this announcement, so I am leaning toward it being written by someone else. Let's take a deeper look at it. I wonder why it took her leaving Teen Mom for her to realize that David is psycho. I mean, everyone on the show is basically telling her to leave him already, right? The only explanation really is she stopped getting paid, and that's basically confirmed in later articles that she left him because she knew she wouldn't have any successful businesses with him. The next piece of news that came out after this was Jenelle planned to fight for full custody of Ensley, as she believes she is the more fit parent. He's probably the only person in which she can say that sentence. But she will still let David see Ensley as she believes he is a good father. It's also important to note that around this same time, MTV had the reunion in New York, and Jenelle, for some reason, was in New York, despite not being on the reunion. Was she talking to MTV executives about coming back, about leaving David? Was someone telling her to leave David so she could come back? Some new information came out. MTV called her to come to New York, and Jenelle, whose bank funds are being depleted by the purchases of weed and David's shitty leather company, agrees. David basically was like, "You ain't going to no MTV meeting." And for once, she snuck off without his permission to New York while he was sleeping. And while she was there, she filed for divorce. Or at least tried to, because in the state of North Carolina, you have to be separated for at least a year before filing for divorce. After that, she and the children fled to Tennessee, and she has not been back to David since. So she actually has left David, at least for now. David starts vague posting on Facebook, and then he threatened to file a missing persons report for Ensley, which he did try to do, but with there being no custody agreement in place, there isn't much he can do. When that didn't work out in his favor, David called 911, great use of resources, what is this, call number 35 from the land this year, to report a stolen dog. Oh, so now David cares about the dogs. How much do you want to bet he probably killed that dog too to scare Jenelle into coming back? Now he's just reporting it like, oh, it went missing. But Jenelle was not moved. In fact, the next thing she did was file a restraining order on David. Now, in this restraining order, a lot of new information came out on David's abuse. In it, she says that he is abusive and violent and describes several incidents of him threatening her. After her wedding, he grabbed her and squeezed her arm, causing bruises, and then took her car without her permission and refused to tell her where it was. In October of last year, he raged out and destroyed her bathroom, breaking vases, her hair straightener, the shelves, also screaming as loud as he could in her face. Then, of course, there was breaking her collarbone, 911 call, also in October of last year. On another occasion, which we're just now hearing about, he locked Kaiser in the car, and while Jenelle told Kaiser to unlock the door and get out, David kept on relocking it. Truly just an evil person. After she left, he texted her accusing her of cheating. Then he sent her a picture of a random guy and said, "This is your new boyfriend. I'm going to break his neck and feed you his head. My goal is to make sure you regret leaving me like this." And in the midst of this, no big social media posts, just stupid little things here and there from both of them. And that's all that's pretty much happened so far. Now, as for it being real, a lot of people believe it isn't. A lot of people are saying this is made up to get Jenelle back in people's good graces and back on MTV. After all, if she didn't leave David after all that stuff I mentioned earlier, why would she do it now? This would also be the first time Jenelle has been single since she was in, middle school, I think she said that. Which, if she doesn't have another guy lined up, is pretty hard to believe. We all know Jenelle is basically glued to David and has refused to leave his side or stop defending him for the past 4 years. So, my opinion, some people don't agree with me on this, I do think it's real, and here's why. First of all, the Ashley, who has been doing Teen Mom news for 8 or 9 years now, confirmed that it was real, and she's a reliable source. 2, it's pretty reasonable to assume that Jenelle's flat broke. She's not on the show anymore, she's supporting 3 kids, plus buying expensive toys for her unemployed husband. along with his child support and court fees from their dozens of legal issues. JE Cosmetics was a failure. David's shitty leather bracelets, also a failure. Her house is literally sinking into the ground. Everybody hates her. Jenelle is stupid, but I think she knows that the only way to make money at this point is off of MTV and Teen Mom. And after the secret meeting with MTV, I do think they probably told her, hey, we can only film you again if you leave David. And that probably influenced her. Maybe they even gave her the number to a lawyer, but ultimately, she still did it. Even if it was fake, like, how would she keep that up? Let's say Teen Mom starts filming her again. Will David have to leave the house every time? We'll still see his stuff there. They wouldn't be able to hide it. Also, she has a restraining order now, which I think made it a lot more serious. As of right now, she is still in Tennessee, and David is still vague posting like a 13-year-old. So what do you guys think of this whole divorce situation? Is it real? Do you think it's fake? Concocted by MTV masterminds? Because it definitely wasn't Janelle's mastermind plan. Do you think Jenelle would come back on Teen Mom, and would you watch it if she did? Make sure to leave a comment down below on your thoughts in this situation. And make sure to subscribe for recaps and news every week.